When I was a teenager, living in the UK and playing in a rock and roll band, I really didn't have time for sports. But it seemed like most of me mates were obsessed with rugby, cricket and football, or soccer as it's called in the States. In this entry of the STEM journals, not only do I get sporty, but I discover that some of the most innovative STEM-related work being done today is all part of the game.
Author, musician, meteorite hunter, adventurer. I've led an eventful life. Now I'm exploring exciting STEM careers and recording what I find in the STEM journals.
STEM Journals, new entry. Local Motors is an innovative company crowdsourcing the world's talents to design and build absolutely brilliant vehicles. Alex Fletcher, a staff designer, is going to let me try out their latest invention. Wow! Tell me this is a rally fighter in construction?
Yeah, we've actually got 2 of them in construction, and these are customer builds. So they're out of the building right now, but they'll be back in and out working on their own new toys in the future. So I got more to show you. Though this is the beta, so this was the first one that we ever did.
Oh, you're kidding me.
Yeah, it's got the BMW inline-6 bi-turbo diesel.
Come on.
Yeah.
This is the very first
First one. So super old, and you're getting your face dusted. Let's go look at the next thing.
So worth it.
Check out this motorcycle. It's actually on a Harley base. It's 1970s F1 inspired. That's why you've got that intake on the side. It's like the 1970s Broughton BT44 F1 slimline intake instead of your normal airbox. But I actually have something even cooler to show you back in R&D.
Cooler than this?
Oh yeah. Remember back when you were a kid and you felt like a hero riding your big wheels?
Vaguely.
Yeah, well, we're about to remind you of that.
That looks really dangerous! Oh man, I want to do that! He's a maniac! Nice.
All right, your turn.
He's a madman in the parking lot! I must say that when you said there was something that was almost as cool as the Rally Fighter, I was a bit skeptical. I'm going to trade you the venerable STEM Journals
Thank you, sir.
bag
All right.
for this. Now, do you think that you could impart your wisdom to me?
Counter steering is the whole story here. As soon as you start to slide, getting on it with the counter steer is important to steer you back out of the drift. Since it's technically front-wheel drive, because that's where the hub motor is, your throttle actually helps you with that because it helps to pull you back out of the drift.
All right, well, let's see if I can even do this. Well, it's been nice knowing you, Alex.
Yeah, I know.
In case I don't see you again.
Enjoy, the freeway's that way.
I'll see you later. Whoa.
Little bit of speed, man. Try giving it half throttle as you go into a turn.
Yeah.
And counter steer and then just peg it, and that kind of helps you. Think skid pad test. Circle and circle and circle. Yeah, there he goes. You can even make the noises, you know, bwap, 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 like just through the turn.
Oh, does that help?
Oh, it totally helps.
Good.
It's all about the noises. There you go, nice.
This thing's brilliant.
Yeah, no, it's a good time.
Is this your invention? What's the story here?
Drift biking's been around for a little while, but certainly the downhill. But when it comes to putting an electric motor on it, there have been a couple of people that have done setups like that to varying degrees of success, but really trying to tune the trike to be good at flat landing is something that's a little bit new.
It's pretty stripped down. How complicated was it to devise this?
Overall, it's really not that complicated a concept. So if you want to come back into R&D, we can actually go into some of the specifics there.
R&D, you say?
Yeah, let's go.
Engage.
Awesome. I've got motors, controllers, and batteries. So the battery is the first aspect of it. What you've already noticed is it is huge.
That's a serious piece of gear.
On the other hand, it's built to last, and it's very easy to charge and safe. On the flip side, we've got these, which is what we were using out there today. These are RC plane batteries, and they have tons more energy for the form factor, but They also are much less durable, and they also have a tendency to catch on fire pretty easily.
Oops.
Yeah, so not that user-friendly.
I can just see that. Fire department? Yeah, my tricycle's on fire.
Yeah,
What?
exactly. We've got two hub motors here. The difference between these two, this one is an all-in-one package, essentially. So the controller, everything, all of that's just inside the hub, which means that there's much less out on the trike, which is kind of nice, compared to this one, which you need to have the controller and you need to route all the wires, but on the other hand, it is a little bit lighter weight and it's a lot more affordable than the all-in-one solution.
In terms of R&D, is that all you're working on?
Oh, we actually have a bunch of projects going on, and everybody in R&D gets to work on it. We've got people from a number of different specialties. We've got industrial design, we've got mechanical engineering, electrical engineering, and we get to work on everything from the Verado to the Cruiser, our motorized bicycle, to the Racer, the motorcycle that we saw earlier, and also the Rally Fighter as well.
Nice. Funny you should mention that. Much as I've enjoyed my Verado experience, I think you know that what I really want is the Rally Fighter. What do you think?
I think we might be able to make that happen.
After the break, I visit Colorado to ski the latest and greatest with Rocky Mountain Underground.
STEM Journals is sponsored by Copperpoint, proud to sponsor STEM education because students who excel in science, technology, engineering, and math will solve the challenges of tomorrow.
STEM Journal's personal log. Aren't the seasons delightful? Every winter, water vapor binds with hygroscopic nuclei, freezes, and falls as snow. Just delightful. Great. That was just great. Just great.
Hey, Gaper, how's the corduroy treating you?
Give me a hand, will you? Thanks. Listen, Guy, this is only the second time I've been on the slopes, and last time was many years ago, and the skis were about that long and about that thick, and I see things have changed a bit. Where does a guy get a pair of skis like that?
See that mountain across the highway? That's called the Professor, and that's what these are named after. It's the company Rocky Mountain Underground Skis.
Huh.
These have an early rise in the tip and tail, you know, so you get the nice float through the nice deep pow-pow, and, you know, so you don't have to lean back as much.
I have no idea what you're talking about. Maybe you could clue me in on who would design a ski like that.
Well, you can go talk to Mike Washi at our shop, and he'll tell you all about it.
Huh. Okay, well look, I'm gonna try and get down to the bottom in one piece. I might go check that out.
Enjoy the Bluebird Day, sir.
Thanks, man. Hey, what's a gaper? There are so many different types of skis. There's long and thin, there's super long and thin in the middle and fat at the end and curved and colors and shapes. And how in the world did you get here from the simple skis that I used when I was a teenager?
There's been a lot of significant change for the user since just sliding wood down the hill. You know, this ski in particular is actually meant to perform in powder and on hard pack. So we've got a couple radiuses all interacting, and all that stuff comes together. It originates in design on computers. We're using AutoCAD to come up with these dimensions. We're measuring every component of the ski, the radius of the tip, the radius of the tail, the side cut radius. Everything is pre-thought out and give the end user the feedback that they're looking for.
I know they're primarily wood, but they don't look, feel, or smell like wood. So I imagine materials play a really important part in the production of a sophisticated ski like this.
Exactly. The materials are just about as important as the design.
This is where it all comes together. We're down here at the Never Summer factory. Yeah, what you looking at here?
Is it really a factory?
Yeah, it's kind of our secret lair here.
It's got a bit of a Fortress of Solitude vibe, I like that.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, before we go in, I think you might be a little overdressed there.
What?
Yeah, we got some work, but we'll take care of you.
Oh, really? If you insist.
All right, Jeff, so here we are. This is actually all of our sourcing for all of our raw materials. It's where we bulk storage every little piece and component. Each one of these blocks will become a different ski. This is actually Poplar. It was what is in the Apostle. You know Poplar.
Yeah, I grew up in the UK, and on my street there were poplar trees everywhere, but they're kind of a thin, springy tree.
Those properties that give the ski its personality. It's measured in modules of elasticity, how elastic the ski is, how much pop it's gonna have, what the performance is gonna feel like. At the end of the day, it's all about how it skis. So we go back to the thumb method.
What's that?
It's either thumbs up or thumbs down.
I like that.
Thumbs up.
All right, so Poplar's thumbs up.
Exactly.
Can we go build something?
Let's go build them. From what you had there, it's ready to be profiled. This is where the real nuts and bolts come together because we've got to get a flex pattern into this ski. This is where our CAD numbers go into. We started building these things in our garage with just a standard planer. With this machine, we're going out to the 100,000th of an inch here.
All of this magnificence started in your garage.
From the garage, working up. We've got our cores profiled. You got to get your base. So
Excellent, I'm a bass player.
not that kind of base. It's actually what the ski's gonna slide on. But you don't want to touch it because the oils in your hands will actually cause issues later in production with the epoxy.
Okay, let me get this straight. The wood is for the springiness of the ski, and then the bumpers go on the side to protect
The
it.
sidewall, yep.
And then the base goes on the bottom so that it'll slide more efficiently across the snow.
Exactly. Yeah, the slidiness, as we like to call it.
From your dream to the CAD drawing, this is what we get. What I would really like to hear about is how I put some of these skis on these feet and get out on the slopes. What do you say?
You know, I think we should probably look into that. I think we can take care of you there.
All right.
Let's give it a go.
Pow pow. On my next entry in the STEM journals, I return to my UK roots. Sort of. STEM Journal Supplemental. Terry Bayhill is a retired systems engineer who's fascinated by the science and mechanics of an all-American sport. But how does the human mind track and predict the path of a spinning baseball? Terry, it's Jeff. I got me summer weights on. Time for the test match. Ah, good day to you, sir. You're ready for a bit of sportsmanship?
Yeah. What are we gonna do?
Cricket.
Cricket.
Yes, it's a gentleman's game.
The heck is that thing?
It's a cricket bat.
That's not a bat. This is a bat.
Oh, that's from that game Rounders.
No, this is baseball. We're in America. We play baseball here.
That game was derived from cricket, you know.
No, it wasn't.
Do you feel like playing a game?
Why don't I teach you how to play a game?
How?
I'll teach you how this ball moves. Spin.
You're just saying
Wind. No, I have my lab set
Really?
up here. I can show you in the lab.
I could hit that.
All right. This is a ball, a baseball. Very specific construction. There are exactly 216 red cotton stitches.
Huh. And the significance of that number is?
I don't know, it's always been that way.
So your answer is because.
Yeah.
Well, what else can you tell me?
The seams affect the way the ball moves. There's a curve ball and a drop ball and a rise ball. A lot of it is affected by the way the pitcher holds the ball in contrast to the seams. If he throws it one way, he says he's throwing a 4-seam fastball or a 5-seam fastball or a 2-seam fastball, and that makes a difference in how the ball moves.
May I? 2-seam, 4-seam. This is one long continuous seam. Sorry, Terry, but you don't seem to know what you're talking about.
Look here. When the ball is spinning in the air, this ball is spinning and you see 1, 2, 3, 4 seams.
Oh.
And this one, when it spins, you see 1, 2, nothing, 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 1, 2. You see 2 seams. That's the difference between the 2-seam and the 4-seam fastball.
Oh, I see. I was thinking you were completely mad.
Yeah, I'm a mad scientist.
What's this for?
I'll spin. Can you see the pattern of the stripes on that? Look at this one. Can you see the pattern there?
Okay. There's two very clear lines.
Yeah.
Larger ones.
Yeah, that's the game that the batter and the pitcher are playing. If the batter can see these clues, then he knows what the ball's gonna do. It's gonna curve like this, it's gonna drop like that. Can the batter actually use this clue?
Jeff, get rid of that bat. Now walk in until you can see the distinguishing features, and then stop.
Oh, I can see the vertical lines on the right ball.
Good, that's 35 feet. Now come on in till you can see the other one.
The left ball has many parallel vertical lines.
That's right. You can tell the difference between the 2-seam and the 4-seam fastball.
I can. That's pretty good, right?
Oh, well, for a little leaguer. What? That's how far the ball would be from the real batter. He would have to pick it up at that distance in order to be useful, to hit the ball. So you've proven that even somebody with bad eyesight can perform the task.
Who are you talking about? I can see the thing from miles away. Okay. I see it. I understand what you mean.
Good.
So I've seen the different patterns. Ooh, bamboo. But what does this really tell us about the game of baseball? And more importantly, what does it tell us about our minds?
What about the game of baseball? It just dispels one more myth. Like the rising fastball. Here we've got the 2-seam, the 4-seam fastball. We can explain to people what's really happening. But that's not where I'm coming from. I'm an engineer. I'm a design engineer. And I'm interested in the brain, how the brain works, what's its limitations. But psychology, that's what this is really.
You said psychology, and the psychologist would say, you're adding one more grain of sand to the beach of knowledge and all the beaches of knowledge in the world.
You're a mad scientist now.
But I just wanted that. I didn't think much about sports when I was growing up, but I've come to realize that biking, skiing, baseball, and STEM have a lot in common. Next on the STEM Journals, Colin is wheels up with Pivot's Mach 6. Engage.
Nice enduro wheelie. What'd you think of the bike?
Pedals really well. I noticed there's not really any pedal bob when I'm going up those hills, and when I come down those hills, I didn't feel any of the rocks.
Pretty cool that we can get that amount of travel out of this. That's all in the design of the Mach 6.
I've been riding forever. I just never would have thought that the bike industry would have come this far, pushing the bikes to their maximum limits.
One of the nice parts about working for Pivot is we're right over the hill. We can make changes and tweaks and go test them in real time, and then we'll come back and fix things that we notice. We should go check it out. We're right around the corner.
Yeah, I'd love to. That'd be awesome.
Colin, to understand my role in bike design, and first we have to go back to the beginning and look at how the whole thing is laid out. This is an engineering drawing. It's basically a two-dimensional drawing of this bike. And this is where the engineers flesh out all the major details. They say, okay, we want 6 inches of rear travel. We want a certain head angle. They'll put it all on paper, and then quickly we can start molding things around and making sure they'll fit. So we'll know that a certain travel path is going to hit the rear seat tube. So we'll know where we have to move that to make it work. And this is all part of the DW Link system. It uses center of mass and rider weight to adjust for that pedal bob.
Then you go through a couple different ways of routing your cables on there.
This rear triangle moves so much that you can't put cables in some traditional locations we found because it'll bow them all out. That's how we found that this ended up being a better spot to put cables for this particular bike. which I can show you the light table. Start with the basic geometry, because we know that none of this is going to change. We tested it all out. I want this pivot bike to be recognized as a pivot, so I want someone to see the silhouette and say, hey, I know what that bike is. Frames still generally become the same shape because you have to fit components in, you have to fit water bottles in, I have to make sure this shock clears. Now once I have that basic shape, I can put in different design lines that I want. We have all this freedom in the world, we're not going to just make a plain bike. We're gonna make all the parts work together and look great together as well as ride well together. So why don't you give this a shot?
So we'll kind of base off yours, get the pivot locations. There, let's make this nice and thin.
The one thing you'll find, Colin, we aren't limited by the tubes, but we are now limited by carbon layup and what they can do with carbon. So if you have a real thin section like that, that's either gonna snap, it's gonna be real flexy, or they're gonna have to use really expensive carbon to be able to compensate for that thin section. Part of my job is to understand how carbon is laid up. There are people who are professionals at it, but I have to know enough about it to be able to design a bike. After we get a sketch that the design team likes, then what I'll do is I'll put that in the computer as a base and turn it into 3D. And the nice part is now I can start putting components in so I can run different shocks. I can make sure the shock's not gonna hit anything weird. Same with this front derailleur. As that chainstay moves up, if you're looking at it in a base position, it doesn't look like it's gonna be a problem at all. But then as I move that rear triangle up through the chainstay, you can see there's only a few millimeters of clearance, so it doesn't hit the front derailleur.
Very small increments you have on these things.
Yep. And there's one point in the process where we say, hey, I like this bike the way it is. This is perfect. Let's send it to tooling. I hand it off to them, and they'll lay up the bike, and then we have a Mach 6. We're ready to ride.
So there's a lot of engineering and development that go into designing these bikes, and there's still a lot that can still be touched on. I'd maybe like to take my future career path toward the bike industry, maybe see what I can cover more ground on and develop even greater and better products within the bike industry.
Now the first step is to get involved. Play that sport, middle school, high school, and college. The second step is whatever classroom that you're in, be driven. Know that subject, get into that subject as much as possible. And lastly, you want to find a product or create a product that you love and you're passionate about. Go through that engineering process. That engineering process isn't linear, it's cyclical. So you're going to go back and revisit and change it and renew it until you get it perfect.
On the next entry of the STEM journals, DNA origami, medicine to go, and microprocessing made better. Big developments in the tiny world of nanotech.